Hi, Sue. Nate, we're good with the live stream, so if you'd like to get started, that would be great.
Thanks, Veronica. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all virtually this morning. It looks like the first thing on the agenda is governing board member introductions. I don't know if we need to do that as long as we all know each other. I think familiar faces here. So we can move on. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Actually, I'm going to have Sylvia introduce Dave.
Okay, is Dave on here?
He is.
I can't see him yet, but hi everyone. I needed to let you all know that Dave Garbrandt, one of our probation officers, is going to be attending, I believe, the budget committee. And
could somebody talk so I can see if my speaker's not working? I keep taking it out and putting it in my headphones. It won't work for me without using headphones.
Sue,
No, I can't hear you. I'm just going to keep taking it out and trying it again. Thank you.
okay.
You guys can hear me okay, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, I wanted to let you know that our new judge, Judge Wilgus, has decided to change some of my responsibilities as court administrator. And so I will no longer be on the Family and Children First Council. So Dave is going to be replacing me. He's quite capable. He's been on the Service Coordination Committee and some other things. So he's fairly up to speed on what's happening. So basically, I wanted to join today to let you guys know that. And I'm glad that Dave is on. He's just not at the top of my screen right now. But so anyway, I thank you all for allowing me to be on the governing board for so very long. But I'll miss you guys. I will. But anyway, just wanted to let you know. So I guess I'm formally introducing Dave to some of you. Some of you, I'm sure, have met him before, but if not, he's one of our probation officers, and he's been around a long time too. So, so that's what we're going to be doing. So, thank you, Veronica.
Thank you, Sylvia.
I would like to thank Sylvia for her decades of contribution to Family and Children First Council and just Tuscarawas County's children and families in general. Not only the work that you've done through council, but the work that you've done outside just as part of your job and not part of your job to support our families is incredibly appreciated. We will miss you. We will miss your humor. Dave, you have some big shoes to fill.
Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Sil.
Uh-huh.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Any guests that need to be introduced today other than Dave? Doesn't look like it.
No.
Right. It looks like next we can move on to approving the agenda for today. Veronica included that in the packet that was sent to all of you. So if I could get a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
It's like
I'll second.
Sylvia and Robin, thank you. Any discussion? Right. If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Right. Doesn't look like we have anyone opposed or anyone abstaining. So motion carries. Next, we have the approval of the meeting minutes from February 11th of 2021. If I can get a motion for that, then we can discuss. Anyone like to make a motion for the meeting minutes? Looks like Dave Brand. Is there a second? Might not be able to see you if somebody is.
Jen Flaherty is holding up her hand.
All right, thank you, Jen. All right, any discussion on this? Right, if not, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposition or abstentions?
I abstain.
All right, thank you, Bob. All right, motion carries. Item number 2, Budget Committee. March and April 2021 list of bills. I can get a motion in second, then we can discuss.
Nate, we held a budget committee meeting prior, and so the budget committee is sending the recommendations approved to the full governing board.
Okay, great. So do we need to vote on this or?
We do.
Okay. Do we
Do you
still
want me to
need
give an explanation?
Yeah, go ahead, Natalie.
Okay.
Or
Okay,
give the
sorry.
motion, the motion the way you want it to be read is what needs first. So
Well, that's going to require me to have written it down, David.
well, okay, I moved the way, so moved.
So the motion is to approve the list of bills from March 11th and April 10th with one addition. ALCO is listed in the very last section, the second to last item. It was listed under MSY funding. We're asked that the budget committee move that line up to the family-centered services and supports line, L55 in the middle of your screen. My understanding is that that was included in an MSY application. We haven't received approval of the application yet. It can still be paid. It's just coming from a different line item. The Adams Board Council Manager position continues to be a mix between Veronica and Danielle's time at 10 hours a week. Paige continues to do travel through service coordination, which is why travel continues to show up on the budget. We have in the L55 in the center of our screen, we have $500 in gas cards that were purchased for families through Speedway. We have a home choice, a small amount of home choice balance remaining, and that has paid for council rent for the past few years. And as you'll recall, that MSY funding is state funding that we apply for from our state government to fund children either in placement or some of the services that they may need while in placement. So that money is in and out. Anyone have any questions about the list of bills? Back to you, Nate.
All right, thanks, Natalie. Can I get a vote on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed or anyone abstaining? Right, looks like motion carries. Next, we have the financial statements through March 31st, 2021. Can I
Want
get
me
a-
to take?
Yep, go ahead, Natalie, thanks.
Thanks, Nate. The first item is our balance sheet. We're doing pretty well. We do have a decent amount of reserves. We have a small amount of budgeted reserves that were included in our FY21 budget, which is up June 30th. We have a pot of money you'll see in the middle of the reserve section, SFSC reserves. That was our Strong Families Safe Communities grant. We also had 3 partners that joined together to fund that position. The grant has since ended. The position has since ended. So at some point, the partners will need to talk about that reserve amount, what we want to do with it, and then bring that to the full governing board. But council's balance sheet is looking pretty good at this point. This does not need a separate motion. So if there are no questions, we can move to the expense and revenue report. So we are 3/4 of the way through our fiscal year, and we have a good amount of our revenues in at 100%. Some we are still waiting for from the state. Some are reimbursement based on our billings. The Help Me Grow funding in the top section, that's waiting on the billings from our agency, from Guidestone, who provides that service. And whenever that is billed, then the state reimburses that funding amount. And our expenses, you'll see we're right where we should be on our salaries at almost 75%. Paige began taking benefits, fringe benefits this in March. So that is an expense that we had planned for. And you'll see on our finances through the remainder of this fiscal year. What else can I tell you? So we are looking pretty well. It looks like at this point of the year, we have total expenses in at 64.6%. Looks like we're not going to go over in any of our line items for the remainder of this fiscal year. Does anyone have any questions? Then back to you, Nate. A motion is coming from Budget Committee to approve the financials for March and April.
Right, thanks, Natalie. So all in favor of approving the financials as Natalie presented, signify by saying aye or raising your hand. All right, looks like motion carries. Anyone opposed or anyone abstaining? Right, doesn't look like it. So next, item 3, governing board business of the day. Item A, chair nomination for fiscal year 2022, David Brand. I'll turn that over to you, Veronica or Natalie.
So in our bylaws, we typically would do this nomination at our June meeting, but the OCBF application that needs to be approved at today's meeting required that I had the chair for fiscal year 22 to put on the application. So we, at our last meeting in February, I'd brought this up. David had contacted me, and Natalie and I met with him, and he is willing to be nominated for this position. So I'm bringing it to the board today, asking them to approve him. Or yeah, I guess that's how I word it. Approve him as our fiscal year 22 chair of the council.
Right, thanks, Veronica, and thanks, Dave, for reaching out. If I can get a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion, Natalie.
Right, a second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Bob. All in favor, signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Right, thank you, Dave, and Natalie and Veronica.
Thanks, guys, and I'll abstain on that. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
And before we, I don't know if this is, before we move on to the next item, we are going to need a nomination for vice chair. I would like to put that on our June agenda. So if after this meeting, or if someone would like to nominate someone, that would be fine. But if you are interested in filling that role, you can contact me also, and I would add that to our June agenda so that we had a vice chair available. The other 2 positions that are in our bylaws are secretary and treasurer. Natalie fills that treasurer role as our administrative agent on the budget committee. And then the council manager role is the secretary. And so Danielle and I are filling that role. So we just need a vice chair position to be filled at our June meeting.
Great, thanks, Veronica. All right, next item here, OCBF application approval. This is included in your packet. If I can get a motion in a second, then we can discuss. Would someone like to make the motion to approve?
I'll make the motion, Robin.
Thank you, Robin. Second, David Brand. All right, Veronica, back to you.
So this is for our operational capacity building funds application. This is something that we have to do every year. This application is basically a request for the grant funding of $15,750 that the state gives us to run council. So we have to put in who our chair is and the council coordinator, and I mean, the application is there for you to review. I have to outline, who attended meetings, what our next meetings are for the fiscal year. Our parent representatives sign this application, as does the current chair and our administrative agent. And there's a small budget section that says how we're going to spend that money. And we get this turned in. We have to have this turned in next week. And I'll do my best to answer questions if you have questions about it. And if not, I just would ask Nate to get
All
approved.
right. All right, if there are no further questions, all in favor signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Right, anyone opposed or anyone abstaining?
Did we get a motion in a second? Did we? Okay, I'm sorry. I was doing something else as I.
No problem.
Let's see, what do I have next on the agenda?
It's like bridges to wellness, and I don't believe this needs a motion.
It does not need a motion. I just wanted to give an update that Natalie and I met with Sarah. Bridges to Wellness has right now the availability of grant money to pay for a community health worker to be trained. We're going to be transitioning this summer, early fall. Paige is going to be going full-time with her master's program and with her internship. So she is actually going to be leaving us in the fall, and we're going to need to be looking at hiring a new service coordinator. And I'm working on the job description, and how this all pulls together is I really would like our new service coordinator to be a certified community health worker. So there's grant money that would pay for that schooling. There's a stipend in Sarah's grant that for a part-time coordinator that any agency that gets one would get $5,000. So I see having a community health worker as a potential sustainable funding stream. We don't have to take any new cases that aren't already involved. Like if they're involved with service coordination, they can also be a community health worker case, a Bridges to Wellness case that family can be. So I'm waiting on a little bit of language from Sarah's job description to be able to add to the posting that I want to do this month for that position to be posted on Indeed. And then we'll need to do some interviews in May or early June so that we could have someone hired by July 1 so that Paige could begin to train them before she starts her schooling in August. And then Paige would work with us still part-time for a few weeks to just make sure that that individual has all that they need training-wise to get them up and running as a service coordinator. So that's my Bridges to Wellness update. Is there any questions about that? Okay, so the more to come. I've more to come. And then the last thing that I had, I just wanted to let everybody know that I have been working on the partnership letters and invoices, and I should have those to you in about a week. And instead of mailing them this year, if everyone is in agreement, I thought I would just email everyone their own letter and invoice. It would come as one scanned document. But if that's okay with the board members, I will get those sent out by April 15th. Is everybody good with that? Okay. Bob, also, I remembered yours needs to be dated July 1st, so I've already got that taken care of for you. Okay, that is all that I had for that section.
Thank you, Veronica and Paige. Thank you for all the work you've done with council over the past few years. It's been a real pleasure working with you and seeing the county move forward as we serve multi-system kids. And with that, Paige, turn it over to you to service coordination.
All right, thanks, Nate. So right now I have about 5 active MSY applications for kids. We have 2 kids in placement at a developmental center, which is not able to be paid through MSY funds. And then we have 5 in residential treatment. And we are currently looking for 1 residential for another kid. So that'll be another MSY application that we are doing. And we did just get another new referral who we are looking for residential for as well. So those will be 2 new MSY applications we will be working on. I have about 17 cases right now, and we've been getting new referrals pretty consistently. So Veronica and I are prioritizing those and working through those. We are working on spending our FCSS funds. This year, there are summer camps going on, so we will be sending kids to summer camp, using funds for respite, possibly buying a couple of bikes, YMCA passes, gas cards, driver's education, and things like that. So we are working on getting those for the families. I'm also going to be working on renewing my CANS license to be able to complete the child and adolescent needs and strengths assessment with families. We also, and Don can give some more details on this as well, but the Ohio Rise asked for volunteers to test a Ohio brief CANS assessment and then complete the decision support model. So I did those last week, and we will be having a follow-up meeting tomorrow to see how everyone thought they were and kind of go from there on what they're going to be doing forward with that. I have been meeting with families in person if they're comfortable. So the past year, I was pretty much just doing phone calls unless I had to drop stuff off to families. So this past month, I've been really getting back into the homes with families. So that's been good for them. And I think that's all my updates.
Thank you, Paige. Right, it looks like next, community partner updates. Does anyone have any updates to share with the group today?
I'll start because I'll give Mandy's update for the Child Advocacy Center. She wanted to remind everyone that tomorrow, Friday, April 9th, from 11 to 5, there will be a committee on the courthouse square selling pinwheels and yard signs. So if you have staff or want to help with that, she is taking volunteers for help, or if you would like either of those, please come see them that day. And then she also wanted to remind everybody to please wear blue in support of Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month on Wednesday, April 14th. And if you would, take pictures of your staff in blue and post those pictures to the Noah's Hope Facebook page or tag them in your own social media posts.
Is there a post on Noah's Hope or somewhere with all that, since I was not fast enough to write all that, or?
I'll send you guys stuff about it.
We want to do it. I just want to get the date right and all that stuff.
Yep, I will shoot you out something.
Thank you.
Yep. That's all I had. Thank you.
I'll toss one out there. May is Mental Health Month, and we were able to get a federal grant connected to COVID. What we're using the funding for is a huge effort during the month of May of stigma reduction. Every home in Tuscarawas and Carroll County should be getting a postcard with messaging on it. If any of you have connections to restaurants or pizza shops, we're purchasing sticky notes to put on the to-go boxes. And so we really could use some ins there. It would mean a lot to the Adams Board and our behavioral health system if you would be willing to take a photo of, if you get it on a takeout meal, or if you get something in the mail, if you post it on either your professional or personal social media page. That's how this stuff really begins to get a lot of momentum across our county. So hopefully you'll be seeing these things soon, and hopefully we will continue to get momentum. Thanks.
Give a quick update from the Board of DD. As Paige mentioned, Ohio Rise, that is the Department of Medicaid's new expansion efforts for kids with multi-system youth. Things are really moving quickly at the Department of Medicaid to get this new program in place in the beginning of January of 2022. A managed care plan has been selected to help facilitate the program, and right now rules are being developed to help guide this new program at the state level. But I've been pretty impressed how quickly things are moving there. And they've really been looking at Oklahoma and New Jersey as case studies. These states have implemented something similar, and they've reduced out-of-home placements pretty significantly by focusing heavily on in-home behavioral support. So we'll see what happens there. And then from Board of DD, a project we're working on is a youth residential home, partnering with a few other counties. As Paige mentioned, we have several kids in the developmental center, more kids that we're looking for residential placements for. These are kids often multi-system needs, very intensive behavioral needs as well. And we're just struggling, reaching out to the state, asking for support, and their response is kind of like, good luck finding a placement. And so a few of the neighboring counties and myself have found a provider who would be able to manage a home. And we're moving pretty quickly. We'd like to develop something here locally. So for some of these kids who have very intensive needs, they could still be in the community, even if they're unable to be served long-term with their families. So that is on the radar, as well as some in-home behavioral support needs still is an issue for us. Reached out to Brandy Ankrum. She has some ideas. So we're just starting some discussions there to see how we can help to get some more behavioral help in the home, especially as we move into summer. That's all I have. Anybody else?
Nate, if I could say something, I know I sit on this board as a parent rep, but I'm also the president of Challenger Baseball, and we are in desperate need of volunteers. Everybody, I know everyone's busy. I know everyone has a lot of things to do, but if we know anybody that would be willing to volunteer, they could go to our website or contact me to figure out how to get that done. But we just play 2 days a week, and it would only be for an hour. And we look for anybody that's like grade 7 grade and up to adults. We have several wheelchairs this year, and we don't have enough pushers to push the wheelchairs to the different bases. So if anybody knows of anybody that needs some volunteer time, students, adults, they just need to be able to fill out a background check to make sure that everybody is on board with, the right mindset and things like that. But if you're willing to volunteer or know of anybody that needs some volunteer hours, we are in desperate need of some volunteers to help our kids be able to be typical kids and play baseball this year.
Jen, can you get me like the volunteer requirements and just shoot me an email? I'll get that out to our community care team. And then the other thing I think that would help a volunteer, especially the kids, the 7th through 12th graders, is if there was a schedule that they could look at, because a lot of them are involved with extracurricular activities. And so if we could look and see how we could fit those around those types of schedules,
Yes.
I think
we actually just actually made a schedule last night. It's really hard for us to make a schedule because, we don't know how many kids are going to come back to play baseball every year. We allow them to sign up until the very end, the very last dates that we need to get uniforms and things ordered. So we did do a schedule last night, but I can tell you that we play on Tuesdays and Fridays. And I can give you that information too, but I'll just let everybody know we play on Tuesdays and Fridays, and our games start at 5:30. So we have a 5:30 game, a 6:30 game, and a 7:30 game. So it would just be 2 days a week. If you just want to follow one team, say you want to follow the Indians, then you would just come during the Indians' time.
And what park do you play at?
There is a field out on Pleasant Valley Road that the Rainbow Connection built for Challenger Baseball. And 98% of the time we are out there. And the other time we're at Dover Park.
Chris, I wonder if maybe there'd be a 4-H club that's looking for a community service project that might be interested in something like that.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that might be something we could push out to our older youth because that might be something, they're team leaders, and sometimes they're also very busy team leaders, but that might be something they'd be able to assist with a little bit.
Yeah, we like to do 7th grade and up. We've done younger, but they just, it just depends on the maturity level, because I also need them to be out on the field and, the buddy makes sure that the player is safe. So if I got a flower picker, I need somebody to be aware of where the ball is going, because a couple of our kids hit the ball pretty hard.
Yeah, team leaders they're all high school and up. So.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Hey, Nate, just a quick update from JFS, and I apologize for my long-term absence from this group. I was on a state committee that I'm finally off of now, so get back involved. We are incredibly busy down here. If you didn't already know this, meth use in our county is off the charts right now. I'm sure the pandemic is pushed that, but our number of kids in foster care has shot back up. We were down to about 65 when the pandemic started, and we're edging around 100 right now. So that's a challenge for us. Our folks have continued to work. We're all back in the office now. But the other thing we have coming is the Family First Prevention Services Act is coming down the road, which is going to sort of fundamentally change how we operate. It shifts federal funding away from placement costs and puts it into more upfront services. So there's a lot going on with that. It's still a little ways out, but it's going to kind of be a big change for us. So, but thank you guys, and I appreciate your patience with my absence.
Thanks, everyone. Any other updates for the group today?
Nate, if I could just mention about our parenting classes, which I've sent those out, and Veronica has been very helpful in getting that out as well. But they are all virtual at this time, but we have parenting classes for birth to 5, 5 to 12, and then teens and tweens. So those will be offered through May. We take a break in the summer because we found that even though people really say they want them in the summer, they get busy with lots of other things, and then the attendance is just not there. So so we'll pick those back up in the fall again, but we have those through May.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Anybody else? All right. If not, it looks.
Nate, you just muted.
Gosh, sorry, Veronica. It's not like it's my first Zoom meeting. Shared funding procedures, Adams, JFS, DD, and juvenile court. Turn it over to Natalie or Veronica.
I just leave that on there because at some point we just need to really sit down and hammer those out. We need to figure out what we're going to do with a shared funding stream. I mean, what we're doing right now is, I mean, it's working, but I think we could streamline it and go. So I think it's just a matter of getting us a meeting scheduled and.
Well, and I guess I would like to challenge the partners listed in some of our mandated members. When you're looking at your next budget, if you could look at any part of money that you can carve out and put towards shared funding, I know that that's what I'm going to be doing when we're doing our FY22 budget. So
That's ultimately what I think. What we would like to do is have a pot of money at council that I could then just draw from to pay for these placements instead of having to do a shared funding agreement each time that we have a child in need.
Yeah, that would be excellent. And Veronica, if you would like me to schedule a meeting, or if you guys would like to do it, I'd be happy to participate whenever.
If you guys are ready for it, I will start a doodle poll and we'll.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Right. If there's no other discussion on that, it looks like the next meeting is June 10th, 2021 at 10:30. And looks like next is adjournment. Get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Sue, and then Sylvia. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
See ya.